A new warning from Iran today to Gulf countries who may assist the U.S. military. Their message: stay out of it or else. Now, this comes after Iran's foreign minister said yesterday Tehran will not accept a ceasefire with the U.S., only a deal to fully end the war. But President Trump has different plans in mind. He says talks with the country are at a standstill. And when asked if he plans to resume those negotiations, he said maybe.
Mr. President, we reopen talks
about what?
Reopen negotiations.
Maybe at some point, but right now, I think the situation is so good, but maybe at some point. Look, it's very simple. They have to get rid of no nuclear weapons. Iran cannot have a nuclear. You know why? Because they'd use it, and we're not going to let them use it. So Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't.
Let's go live now. CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata. Charlie, great to be with you. If negotiations are not reopened, what would this mean for the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, Liz, look, the longer this diplomatic stalemate drags on, the worse it is for the Strait of Hormuz and the global economy. And both militaries, I can tell you, are preparing for a return to full combat. The fact Iran is threatening to do just that. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. That just means they're preparing for it. But that MOU, when it ran out for whatever it was a couple of days ago, that at least raised the resolution. There was a sort of window where some sort of negotiation could take place, even a ceasefire, even though there were several ceasefire violations on both sides, including a missile attack that killed 4 U.S. soldiers during that period when it was supposedly in effect. Now, as for control, Iran says it controls the strait, but that U.S. naval blockade is also still in place, and President Trump insists it's under U.S. control and oil is flowing.
We have possession, complete control of the strait. I mean, outside of nuisance value, and there is nuisance value when they shoot a drone every once in a while, and not everybody's going to go through, but they come through. And over the last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of oil coming out, a lot of oil. It's not going to be perfect, but it's a lot of oil coming out, a lot.
Well, that might be down to interpretation. Tracking services show the traffic through the Strait of Hormuz is in single figures. That's a fraction of what was going through there pre-war, which is like more than 130 transits a day, which is obviously keeping oil prices high. Liz?
And Charlie, we're getting some new video from the Indian Ocean of the USS George Washington performing some night flight operations on its way to replace the Abraham Lincoln. That comes after reports of poor conditions on the Lincoln. But there is a new report out about another destroyer in the China Sea. What do we know about that?
Yeah, so this actually happened 3 weeks ago. We only just found out about it. This is on July 24th. And this is the USS Benfold destroyer. And we understand it was without power in the South China Sea for 4 days. We're told there's a generator loss. So we're talking about no air conditioning, no potable water. The kitchen obviously wasn't working. So another ship, a cruiser, had to help provide meals. Tugboats towed that destroyer to Subic Bay, which is in the Philippines. The power is restored. All repairs were finished by August 8th. Now, the Navy said there were no injuries, but the cause of the power loss is under investigation. But I've been on one of those destroyers, and for the 320 or so on board that ship, the conditions would have been hot, stuffy, to say the least. But it's not exactly in friendly waters, right? So officials that I spoke to say it was still able to defend itself in a way. There's still some manual weapon systems for the crew to defend the ship. But remember, these things are always protected by other aircraft and naval vessels in the fleet. In the words of the official that I spoke to, they said they're not going to leave an asset vulnerable to an attack, in their words, like a sitting duck. Liz?
It's got to be pretty disconcerting, though, to be on that gigantic ship with no power in the middle of the ocean.
In the dark and without very good ventilation. And it is hot in the South China Sea. And again, it's not exactly a conflict zone, a kinetic zone, as the military would call it, like the Arabian Gulf where you're going to have, or the Persian Gulf where you're going to have people firing at you. But yes, you are sitting there and really dependent on other teammates, other ships and aircraft in that fleet to protect you. And again, it would have been deeply uncomfortable for a good 4 days.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlie D'Agata, thanks so much.